When you say the word wilderness, it brings a lot of images to people's minds. Probably for most, an image like this: rugged wilderness peaks, beautiful pristine valleys untrammeled by man. But it also brings to the table a lot of controversy. So today, during the course of our half hour together, we are going to talk about wilderness, its definition, the scope of its impact. We're going to talk about the benefits and the challenges that it brings to the table. Our goal in this half hour is to give you the tools you need to engage constructively in the wilderness debate. Now, to get started, if you're going to debate wilderness, you need to understand what it is. So we begin with the definition of wilderness. On September 3rd, 1964, during the second session of the 88th Congress, wilderness was given an official title and a definition. A wilderness, in contrast with those areas where man and his own works dominate the landscape, is hereby recognized as an area where the earth and its community of life are untrammeled by man, where man himself is a visitor who does not remain. An area of wilderness is further defined to mean in this act an area of undeveloped federal land retaining its primeval character and influence without permanent improvements or human habitation, which is protected and managed so as to preserve its natural conditions, in which 1. Generally appears to have been affected primarily by the forces of nature, with the imprint of man's work substantially unnoticeable. 2. Has outstanding opportunities for solitude or a primitive and unconfined type of recreation. 3. Has at least 5,000 acres of land or is of sufficient size as to make practicable its preservation and use in an unimpaired condition. And 4. May also contain ecological, geological, or other features of scientific, educational, scenic, or historical value. But more important than the actual definition of wilderness is the actual perception of what it is.
There's also, as I said, this idea of wilderness, and I think that kind of resonates with some people. They think of the frontier history of this area and like to have some notion of what Utah was like before settlement. You know, there's sort of, in some people's minds, this spiritual aspect of it, where you can go out and see what creation was really like before influenced by man. And, you know, a wide range of values that are tied up in how we use our lands.
It's basically the way the world would look if there were no people here. And it's the way we found it when people first started moving this way. And there's no oil wells, there's no roads, there's no lodges, there's no tracks that have been left by motorized vehicles, maybe footprints, maybe horses, and it's just as nature left it.
Wilderness is designated as a way to protect areas of beauty for future generations. The idea is that if left alone, without man's intervention, it will remain safe and natural.
What's the best tool that fits the circumstances, that protects the values we're trying to protect here? Wilderness turned out to be the best tool for that.
I think in some cases you could call wilderness a form of benign neglect, because essentially you draw a fence around a parcel of land and you're not really allowed to do much management at all. That would include vegetation manipulation, for example, if you have a disease or an insect problem on the forest. Your ability to manage that natural occurrence is severely limited. It is the most restrictive land management designation known to man. And if you asked folks what wilderness is, they might see, well, what I see when I drive down Highway 15 on the way to St. George.
Much of the contention in the wilderness debate comes over land designations that have been created to protect the land for future consideration as wilderness, such as wilderness study areas for the BLM, roadless initiative lands for the Forest Service, and more recently, the controversy over the proposed Wildlands Initiative. These land designations were created to protect land from any development until Congress could vote on deciding whether it should be wilderness. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about the creation of these land designations and talk about the way that they are holding lands in trust until the Congress can vote on a permanent wilderness designation. We'll be back with more of the County Seat.
Anything worth doing in this quiet little town?
You strike me as the kind of girl that likes a manicure and a massage.
I was hoping for something a little more vigorous.
Vigorous, I can do.
And I thought you'd be riding side saddle.
What? I'm gonna regret this.
Believe it or not, summer isn't far away, and neither is Juab County. There's no need to travel far to find that perfect family adventure. Boating Yuba Reservoir, exploring Mount Nebo, riding Little Sahara. Save your gas this summer and stay in your own backyard. July 12th to the 14th, join us for our Ute Stampede Rodeo. August 11th, there's the big Demolition Derby that wraps up our county fair. Juab County. It'll change your family forever.
Cedar City, Utah is home of the Tony Award-winning Utah Shakespeare Festival. But did you know that we also offer a different kind of play?
Discover the ah of scenic southern Utah.
Unlimited opportunity for adventure. It's all about knowing where to look. ATV adventures, rock crawling events, art festivals, and wildlife events. The opportunities are limitless. Pick your adventure in Millard County.